Hey, and happy Tuesday. Of course, yesterday was Labor Day, so the courthouse was closed. And we are starting a trial roster this morning. I'm just looking over it, but the first two have already pled guilty. And the third one that was on the trial roster is a prosecutor that Friday was his last day, so I know that's not going to go. And generally speaking, if these things have to be set well 6 weeks in advance. So there's a lot of time between it goes first up on the trial roster until the week that it actually goes to court. And defense attorneys usually see, hey, we're first up now, we're second up, our case is going to catch, and that's where a lot of them starts pleading. And I'm not going to lie, on our side, when we have prosecutors that have just let a case get old or sit around and get on this thing and find out that they don't have a witness, it may very well get dismissed. So trial roster has a way of doing that. It's frustrating as all get out for me, but if you take a step back and you think about it, you are saying to this person, look, what are you planning on doing the next 25 years of your life? Or what are you planning on doing the next 5 years of your life, depending on what the charge is. So it is incumbent upon people to not want to start a prison sentence until it's absolutely necessary. So what we do is we offer a smaller sentence, and this isn't unique to us. This is federal system that's all across any decently run prosecutor's office. You offer something less up front, and then once that is gone, then the negotiation should go this way instead of going this way. So that ensures that cases move in an orderly fashion. But once one goes on the trial roster, usually if you are a budding defendant, once you go on the trial roster, you're going to get more time, not less time. Once you go to trial, you're going to get much more time and not less time. And that is the whole reason to try to force these things up front instead of at the last minute. We've talked about it before. We'll have 10,000 warrants this year. There's no way to try 10,000 cases. It would be impossible in the history of mankind for the state of South Carolina. They've never tried 10,000 cases, all put together. So that just can't happen. In lieu of that, we have to work we need to use our court time wisely. It needs to be, the startup case. It's got to be a murder or a rape or a kidnapping or domestic violence, high and aggravated, or something where there's been some injury. Not making up any excuses for anybody, but generally speaking, when you have a holiday at the beginning of the week or in the middle of the week, usually at the end of the week it won't matter as much. But if you had a court term scheduled for Thanksgiving, the week of Thanksgiving, you're going to be off Thursday, right? So you've got Monday to swear a jury, to get those ready, to do any pretrial motions. Then you've basically got Tuesday and Wednesday to put it up. And you're not going to be able to do an adequate job on a murder case or a multi-witness case in 2 days. This week it's not as bad, but Monday's gone. So today it'll be swearing a jury and getting those guys ready. And then we'll probably start the trial either late this afternoon or early tomorrow morning, which is Wednesday. And then you got Wednesday, Thursday, and whatever's left of Friday to do a trial. So we've really worked ourselves into trying to get cases, but it takes generally the whole week, 5 days, for a murder trial or a kidnapping, or sometimes it takes longer than that. So, I don't know, but we'll update you on what happened with this week's trial roster. I've told you the first who have pled. We'll get you a sentencing on what took place there. In the last couple of minutes, I want to spend some time on a thing that we never highlight here. I always talk about 10,000 warrants in Horry County General Sessions. That is not counting the 1,700 that go through Juvenile Court, or the 1,100 that goes through Magistrates Court. So today, with the time left, I'm going to tell you about Juvenile Court. Juveniles, people between, say, the age of 12 and 17 will do a lot of the same crimes. They can do the same stuff that adults do. You have juvenile murders, you have juvenile B&E autos, and you have juvenile bad checks. You have all of it. One thing you may not realize is juveniles could be charged with offenses that adults can't be charged with. Those are known as status offenses, like truancy, not going to school. That's a lot of our juvenile cases. And I'm with you. I hear what you're saying through the camera. That's more on the parent. Yeah. So we try to tackle that too. But that's a status offense. It is not illegal for an adult to drink a beer or to smoke a cigarette. It is illegal for a juvenile to do it. Those are status offenses. Juveniles don't have access, for the most part, to jury trials because you are guaranteed a jury of your peers. Juvenile court, usually you go in front of a judge for a bench trial, and that judge is generally a family court judge, a judge that for the most part is listening to divorce cases or settlement offers. But they give us 2 days a week to do our juvenile cases. So again, we have to, when it's a plea, we have to present those pleas. When it's a trial, we have to try it, but that'll be a bench trial in front of a judge instead of a jury. The one time that there's a hybrid is when we waive juveniles up to adult court. I always joke about sprinkling dust over them and turning them from a juvenile to an adult. It's not quite that simple, but that's sort of what happens. You go down to juvenile court, you go through a list of factors known as the Kent factors. There's like 7 of them that you must address in a mini trial to say how mature is this juvenile. What is his age? What is the seriousness of the crime? But you address all 7 of those. And then if the judge agrees that this person should be waived up, they deem that person to be an adult. So then the juvenile turns into an adult and would have the right to a jury trial and all of the stuff that goes with that. We usually won't do that unless it's a murder or attempted murder or something pretty big. We don't waive up breaking into automobiles. Some may say we should, but the juvenile court is sufficient for that. They have juvenile jail. It's called Department of Juvenile Justice. It's a detention facility in Columbia, DJJ. So they have all of those things. It's only when the solution for the problem is inadequate in juvenile court. In other words, if you've got a juvenile that is 16 and shoots up a mall, maybe doesn't kill anybody but shows a real danger, a juvenile that stabs somebody, a juvenile that kills somebody, we waive those up and treat them as adults. Because think about it. If you killed somebody as a juvenile and DJJ can only keep you until your 21st birthday, and you are 17, the most you can get for that is 4 years. Okay? So one of our arguments would be, Judge, there's not sufficient time to rehabilitate this juvenile in juvenile court. So that may be one of the reasons that we would try to waive that juvenile up and treat them as an adult, where they would be subject to the same penalties that an adult would be subject to. There's a lot that goes on. Obviously, truancy is really big with schools starting back. Generally speaking, we get a bunch of those cases. The school system and the state tells you how many days you can miss. And once you start getting up around that time, the school district will serve the student and his parents with notice that they need to go to court. And generally what we do is try to divert that from going in front of a judge by putting them on a plan. The judge never has to hear about it. If they say, I don't want to do that, or I want to talk to a judge, they go in front of a judge, and if they've got a great excuse, the judge may find them not guilty. If the judge finds them guilty, fact of the matter is you and I had to do it, the kids today have to do it. You got to go to school. And if you end up having to go to school in Columbia behind a cage, you're still going to school. So truancy is a real big thing, and that is pushed out by the school district. So we do a lot of that sort of stuff also. But I hope that answers a few of your questions on the juvenile justice system, and we'll be back next week to update you on this trial roster.